Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tegan, and today we are going to be doing babysitting tips. Alright, let's get right into it. My very first tip is to be confident. When you are babysitting their little kids, they're gonna probably do what you say in some manner or another. When you say something to them, seriously, you need to mean it. I think one thing that I've learned is that if you let them negotiate with you, and if they do end up like changing your mind, they're always going to negotiate with you and they're always going to try to change your mind. That will help them know that when you say something, you mean it, and you're not going to be wishy-washy, you're not going to let them negotiate, etc. My second tip for babysitting is to give kids warnings. Instead of being like, alright guys, it's time to leave the pool, or it's time to leave the playground, or it's time to go to bed, that will make them so sad, like if you just throw it in their face. And so what you need to do is like 20, even 30 minutes before you leave somewhere or go to bed or anything, you need to say, alright kids, bedtime is in 30 minutes, so that they are going to be ready and they know that. And then at 20 minutes say it again, and at 10 minutes say it again, and then at 5 minutes say it again, and then they've eased their mind into the fact that they're going to be leaving the playground or leaving the pool or going to bed or whatever it is that they have to do, and they're not going to put up as much as a think about it or getting in their last things that they wanted to do, instead of you saying, alright guys, it's time to go to bed, and they're like, wait, but we were gonna play this. And the third tip is super important. It is something I learned when I had a babysitter. Now, I had a really good babysitter. I'm not going to talk about her, but one time she was busy, and then there was this other girl, and she was on her phone the entire time, and it bothered me so much. I said, will you play with me? Like, I was a little kid, I was like, you want to play? And she was just like, no. And it like was depressing. And so I just, ever since then, like if I was ever going to become a babysitter, one of the very most important things is to not be on your phone. You are being paid to watch the kids and to be friends with them and play with them and do things. And if you're too tired to do that, then don't say yes to the babysitting job. If you would rather be on your phone, then that's not worth the money that the parents are paying you, and you need to be on your phone at your house and not be babysitting. So I really want to emphasize, don't be on your phone when you're babysitting. The only time that it's appropriate to be on your phone is if, like, say they're watching a movie and they're completely content and they're not looking for you for your attention, then I can see being on your phone. Which brings me to my next point. Don't suggest that they watch movies or TV or play video games or whatever it is, or iPads or electronics. Don't suggest electronics for them. They'll have enough electronics already, and you don't need to go suggesting it on them. If they're allowed to watch TV, you can't not let them. But I'm not a huge electronics fan. I think that watching TV at a young age can really overstimulate you, and so I don't want to be suggesting to the kids, hey, let's watch a movie, unless they're absolutely going insane. So nothing else is working, not games, not hide and seek, playing outside, whatever it is. If, like, I don't know, I've had some times where I'm like, okay, we have to like calm them down. They're going crazy. Fifth tip is, especially if you're nannying, like for a summer nannying job, is to plan a schedule, make a schedule. Even with the kids, you can make a schedule instead of them being like, I'm bored, what should we do? Every time you finish something, like in the morning, like take time, and it'll take time to make that schedule with them, and they can turn it into a craft or whatever it is, and that will take up some time. And then you'll have a schedule, you'll know what you're going to do, and also plan fun things. Don't, like, you can like you don't need to like buy them toys or anything, but like figure out some things in your head that you want to do with them, and then it will be more fun for them. Like if you're going to do a craft or something, some ideas in your head of like, oh, what can we do if they don't know what to do, then I'm supposed to be the one to like show them what we should do. My next tip is super important, and I actually have a story with this one. It is pray for them. So I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but when I'm babysitting, it is just terrifying, because like what if they get hurt and they're doing all this stuff and they're jumping off of the couch and you're like, are you sure you're allowed to do that? And they're like, yeah, I do this all the time. And then I like ask them to stop and they're like, no, my mom lets me. And I'm like, okay. Pray for them on your way there in the car, like give it a good long prayer, and then when you're there, just keep praying for them. Like I remember specifically one time I was babysitting these kids and they weren't doing anything bad or wrong, but they were just running around the coffee table, like around the coffee table, and they had like cars and they were racing the cars like on the coffee table, so like their hand was on and then they were like running around. I was so scared they were gonna fall into the fireplace, and I was praying for them, and then all of a sudden, boom, this idea popped into my head. And it was to put the pillows like over the fireplace corners, because like if your head goes into a fireplace corner, like I'm pretty sure you're not going to be okay. And so I put like all the pillows like in front of the fireplace corner, and not even 2 minutes later, the 2-year-olds like fell into the pillow. But if the pillow hadn't been there, they would have like, I don't even want to think about what would have happened. So pray for them, and then just always pray for them, and hopefully like there will be some safety that God will give them, and some guidance that he will give you, and wisdom that he will give you, because obviously if you're babysitting, you're probably not a mom, and so you're probably younger, you don't have your own kids. My next tip is to ask the parents questions. If they're a first-time family, you definitely want to know like who is allergic to what, because my brother was little, a babysitter gave him peanut butter and he wasn't allergic, but my parents had never given him peanut butter before, because my parents, like with me, I tried peanut butter in a hospital parking lot just to make sure I wasn't allergic. Like, I don't know if anyone else does that, but I'm going to do it with my kids because lots of people are allergic to peanut butter, and he had never had it before. Ask if there are any allergies or any foods that they haven't introduced to the kids yet. They'll probably tell you what they're supposed to eat, but if they don't. And then health-related issues. I've babysat for kids with like epilepsy and stuff before, so you're gonna need to know the emergency procedures for if something goes wrong, where the house phone is, if they have one. If they don't, you need to make sure your phone is fully charged. You need to have a charger and have it be charged at all times. I remember one time my phone almost went dead when I was like babysitting for a kid with epilepsy, and it scared me to death, and I felt so bad, and I was like, I will never let that happen again, because if we need to call 911, you need to call 911. And so make sure you have access to a phone. That's very important. Make sure you know everything that you're supposed to do if a kid has health problems or anything like that. And just be prepared as you can be. Don't like worry so much that you make yourself sick, because I've definitely been there before. Like if you're not up for babysitting people with like health related issues, then don't sign up for it. Like it definitely takes someone that is going to be level-headed in emergency situations, which I've thankfully never had. I always pray before I babysit, and I believe that God protects the children that I'm babysitting, and I hope and pray that he always will. If there's a lot of children, sometimes you can't watch them all at once. I babysat 5 children once, 4 children, 2 twin 2-year-olds and stuff, and you really have to make sure you're watching everyone. Without asking questions, like definitely ask questions, because I remember this one time I was babysitting for like almost 4-year-olds. They weren't potty trained, but I wasn't aware, and so because I was like, they're almost 4, I didn't ask if they were potty trained, and they weren't, and the parents never told me where the wipes or diapers or clothes or anything was, and I was like rummaging through their stuff. I think it's just pretty normal. You don't like rummaging through other people's stuff, like, and the diapers and wipes ended up being in their laundry room, so I felt kind of bad, but kind of rummaging. So definitely ask. It's not going to make you seem dumb, because it's going to make you seem more responsible. Like if they're like 6, like obviously you don't ask that, but like if you ask if they have allergies or like health problems or anything, the parents can be like, wow, they're like really thinking ahead. They're not going to be like, oh, what is wrong with this person? They're asking questions. Make sure you always have everything you need for safety. And then my 8th and final tip, or I guess it's 9th, is that you should be patient, because the thing I've learned with babysitting is you aren't the parent. You don't have to deal with this kid. If you don't like this kid, you never have to come back. I've never had that situation where I was like, oh, I didn't like them so much that I never wanted to come back. But like if they are throwing a fit, like it's not your responsibility to teach them like life lessons about like there are starving people in Africa and why are you upset about you didn't get the last airhead thing. Yeah, that's just not your job. Like, I've tried to like teach kids life lessons and then they're just screaming on the floor because they didn't get what's it called? An airhead? An airhead? You should have to let that go. If you don't want to babysit for them, don't babysit for them, but it's not your job to like go and try to fix everything that you think they need to work on because you're not the parent, and if you don't like them, you don't have to come back. That wasn't an actual example, by the way. It wasn't an airhead. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you learned anything, comment down below. If you have any other babysitting tips, comment down below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel, and we'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye. I was like showing them books, and I was like, do you want to read this book? And they were like literally 2.5 years old, and they go, no, you read it. I was like, yeah, that's what I meant.